Sondsol, so beautiful to be with you. I am already recording here, and yeah, so I guess we can jump right in, if that's okay with you. Do you have any questions for me before I guess we quote unquote begin?
No, I'm always prepared.
Beautiful. All right, so Sondsol, thank you for being with me today. I've invited you here in the spirit of building leftist unity, power, and strength, and in that same spirit, I thank you for being so willing to join me and talk about your story, and maybe if we can take some of your most precious gifts in terms of if you could share some tips and tricks along the way. We're going to try to get those out of you as well.
Sure.
But really nice to be with you today. How are you doing? What's going on? And give yourself the big shout out, what you do and where people can find you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Sondsol. I am a leftist content creator. I've been doing a lot of video games recently, but I'm mostly known for debating people and talking about economic concepts, social issues, stuff like that. I'm a political science student right now, so everything that I'm learning in school, I am applying to what I am doing on stream, and it's just kind of a lot of fun stuff has been happening. Right now I'm about to have a debate with actual justice warrior sometime later this week because he got really, really upset at me for watching one of his videos. So that's what we're looking forward to doing on stream.
So you watched this video, maybe talked a little shit. What happened there?
It was about anti-Asian hate crime. And at one point, I said something along the lines of when conservatives will say, Hollywood and the mass media, the mainstream media are doing this. It just sounds like someone is doing the JQ, and it's really weird to me. And he
Did you say doing the JQ?
Doing the JQ, yeah.
Can you? I'm sorry. Spell that out for me. You need to know I'm half stupid 100% of the time. Yeah, and I don't know if you know this about me as well. I'm a relatively new leftist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
a little context.
When someone says someone is doing the JQ, they're asking the Jewish question, which is kind of like signaling. There's no question. There's some Jewish cabal. Yeah. And
they made up a question. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. It feels to me like they're signaling to that kind of sentiment. There's some cabal that is running society, that is trying to degenerate society in some way, shape, or form, and it's a very weird thing when you put all of society's blame on some ephemeral, non-specific group of people, right? Like you can't say why they're doing this or how they're doing it, but they are doing it. And I don't like them because of that, right? And it's mostly because they ruined Star Wars, obviously. That's why they hate Hollywood. But, so that's who I've most recently gotten into an argument with. But, there's also some other people that I also like to build leftist unity. And so I try to talk about things that we can get along with. Some people take exception to me wanting to build that leftist unity, and so it feels like it's created disunity, but
you're going to win some and lose some.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, I got to point out right here, Sondsol. Mm-hmm. First of all, you're a beautiful human being, and it's not often that someone sort of shows me up with their camera set up. You got a really good setup, and I feel a little on my back heels here, I should have stepped up my game for you. It's you got good depth of field on the lens. Looks great.
Yeah,
dude. God,
it's a long time in the making, but I had a lot of people help me that are on Twitch. Samantha Banana helped me pick out the camera and choose the settings on the camera, and so a lot of people around here will help with that stuff.
So we often share sort of streaming tips. A lot of streamers end up following me, and because I don't know, I seem to have learned a lot in the past year, and I like to share it. What camera do you have?
I have a Sony Alpha 6000, Sony A6000. It's about depending where you get it. If you get it used, I got mine for $450. So
for the price,
not
that's
super
great.
bad. Yeah, but they usually hover around $500 to $600. There are some issues with this camera overheating, But I've never had that issue myself. You can plug it into the wall and open up the back of it, and it has worked fine for me thus far. No overheating issues at all.
That's a great camera. It looks really good. I just got to point that out. And I'm a little jealous. It looks really crisp and great. Good depth of field too there. Hey, so perfect. Let's go ahead and dig in then. By the way, it looks like your main shout out, your main what do I call this? Your main social media link is Instagram. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. That's Twitch. I keep forgetting that's the Twitch logo. So obviously they find you Sondsol. Hey, can I ask about your name? What is that?
It's been my like gamer tag on everything since I was little. I don't even remember where it came from, but I've just always used it, and it was never ever taken anywhere, right? So I never had to worry about it being taken. It could always be me. So it's always just been the thing that I've used. Cool.
So let's go ahead and dig into the interview. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks for being with me. Got some questions about your journey a bit, and I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing a bit about sort of your current projects, what you're up to here. We call this "Where Are They Now?" You could talk about your, anything you're doing professionally or leftist related, or if you want to talk about your stream what are you up to?
So right now, I've been trying to find out what the best route forward for me is, because I only started streaming about a year ago in March. So I started off predominantly just trying to talk about the election, predominantly talking about, what we can do to best communicate with other people that are on, maybe Democrats like liberals or people that are social democrats, to try and bring them over. And over the course of the election and over the course of, since after the election, a lot of my content has been geared towards trying to get people to understand how to talk to conservatives. I'm a white guy. I don't know if you could tell. But my upbringing was in a predominantly kind of like after middle school, while I was in high school, I was in a very white suburb, right? Yeah. And so I was around a lot of conservative people. Before that, I was in this, and I live in Houston, so it's very, very diverse here, right? I grew up hanging out with Black kids, Hispanic kids, Asian kids, kids that would do their prayers because they were Muslim, right? I got to experience all of those things from a very, very young age. And then when I moved into high school to a different district, it was very, very white. And I learned how to talk to conservatives in a way, because I don't think that all conservatives are Nazis and stuff, right? I don't think any reasonable person should. And I started noticing over the course of the election that, holy shit. I'm sorry if I can't curse on your stream.
You can fucking curse as much as you goddamn like.
All right. People don't fucking know on the internet how to talk to conservatives, right? And it seems like someone would be kind of a moderate Republican, like, I don't know if I really like Trump, but Hillary is kind of worse, and they would call them a Nazi. And it's like, okay, let's chill out a little bit. Let's think about how
this in here.
Yeah. Let's think about how we're going to talk, right?
There's room for improvement. I'm noticing there. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you just look at that, you could tell it's not exactly true in any meaningful way. So why the fuck are we saying it?
Exactly. And so I started I made quite a few conservative friends on this website, and nice. One streamer, Killer Sieg, I talked to him, and he was willing to listen to a lot of the things that we said, right? Even people like, a lot of people don't like him on the left. CTV, I think, is one of the more reasonable conservatives insofar as you can have a conversation. Like, he'll just sit there and listen while you give your point, and then you can sit and listen while he gives his point, and he won't spit back Nazi talking points. So
that's sweet of him, by the way. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the bar is so low, but that's kind of been the predominant stuff that I've done on my stream over the past year. I've learned a lot about the left, though, because I also consider myself a baby leftist, right? I haven't read Marx, I haven't read Engels, I haven't read any theory like that, but I've spent the most amount of my time learning about our current economic system that we live in now, because I feel like, for me, if I don't adequately understand the system that I live in now, I can't adequately critique it. And I've noticed that in a lot of lefties that try to, get a lot of likes and retweets on Twitter, they'll just say something that's like, "Oh man, that's just wrong. Like, you're hitting it in the wrong spot. You can hit what you're talking about. You can hit it really hard, but you're hitting it in the wrong spot." Right? So if we talk about, I mean, just so many economic policies, like minimum wage, people will hit it in the wrong spots, and it makes the people look stupid because they don't know what they're talking about. Their base principles are correct. We want to help as many people as possible live good lives, be able to afford the things that they need, and not have to worry about things like rent, or if they can feed their children, or if they're going to have water or electricity. These are things that we should be focusing on, right? But they focus on just like the $15 minimum wage, and it's like, okay, look, yes, you're super right. I believe in you. You can do this. Like, if we can do all those other things and keep the minimum wage the way it is now, I think it also works, and we can still try and fight for like an increase in the minimum wage that isn't 15, and it would be an even bigger win. But like, these are the kinds of things that I try to explain to people on my stream. Let's focus on the systems that we're in, how we can change them, how we can learn about the systems that we're in so that we can adequately critique them, so that when we do, we come off as strong as possible and as reasonable as possible to those that are listening.
I'm digging the fucking energy you're bringing to the stream. Sort of unique in a way that we're needing on this stream, and I'm loving this. Well, I'll be honest. I don't do a lot of talking to conservatives, and perhaps that's where I have room for improvement.
Well, I don't think that that's something that is necessary for every single person to do. I get a lot of pushback from other people that are streamers, because I engage with some pretty nasty individuals, pretty not poggers people. They, people like transphobes, just outright racist. I've debated people that believe in like race realism, like measuring skull shapes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I get a lot of pushback, and I think it's reasonable that people would be upset with the idea of talking to some of these people, right? For me, I think that because I am who I am, I'm a white dude, right? I am financially stable enough to be able to quit my job and focus on streaming. I am fortunate enough to have a family that if I do end up needing to stop streaming and find a job, I can go and live with them, right? I don't have anything that really upsets me too greatly. Like, there's nothing that someone's going to say to me on the internet that's going to hurt me, right? So for me, I feel like it is my responsibility as someone that can handle that stuff, that enjoys arguing with people on the internet, to get our ideas out there to that person's audience and give my arguments to my audience, or my arguments to my audience, so that we can adequately fight back against these things. However, I do understand that people that say they are trans and there's a transphobe that's in their chat, right? I don't think that they need to engage. Fuck that shit. You can yeet them into the sun. I don't care. You have no responsibility to educate that person, right? Or if your content is mostly based around just interviewing people, or if it's just about
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just meant to say, yeah, it's like it's turning into it. Actually, like my stream is like definitely super evolving these past few like days. It's just I'm turning it into an interview stream. I love it though.
And I think that's great. I think that there's
cool.
a multi-pronged approach towards getting people interested in left-leaning ideas, into socialist ideas, market socialism, or democratic socialism, whatever your special flavor of socialism is, whatever that is. I think that that's a good thing to have different ways about it. But I don't think that anyone has the responsibility, or everybody has the responsibility to engage with people that they don't want to engage with. I think that this is, I don't think that that's a controversial take to have. I think what is more controversial is to say that specifically to people, like, oh, well, I understand you don't want me to talk to it. Well, you don't have to talk to them. I will. Yeah. I'm kind of a little bit blunt with people at this point that try to tell me who I should and shouldn't talk to. So, because it's gotten worse over time, especially since the January 6th riots.
Yeah, those sort of tensions have gotten a little bit worse. People are I don't know. Are there more ideological tests? What's happening here? I'm sorry. Am I? And let me know if I'm not following again. I'm 50% stupid all the time. Half the time. How about this? Let's move along here.
Yeah.
How about this? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Chat's confusing me right now. Is everything okay in chat? Moving on. I wanted to lean into your leftward bound journey. I think you were already touching on it very much there. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your pathway, perhaps towards leftism or left adjacentism. And to be very clear, you don't have to define your ideology, your politics, or anything like that. But feel free to, let us know about more of aspects of, politics or leftist theory, especially leftist theory or thinking or history that you could point to that has sort of won over your heart and or your mind. What's pushed you left notably over your life?
Mm-hmm. So for me, I think that ideologically, or the kind of like base principles that I have always lent themselves towards socialism, right? I very much care about people in my community, in my city, in my state, in my country, in the world. I don't like seeing people starving. I don't like seeing people getting killed by cops or by soldiers. All these things have made me upset over the years. The things that got me into politics specifically were the killing of Trayvon Martin and the Sandy Hook school shooting, and the subsequent seeming infinite time loop that we were in, just Groundhog's Day, where we saw those same things happen over and over and over again, and the same exact talking points happen over and over again from the conservative side. And as I got older and graduated high school and got into college, changing my major 7 times as I did, and having really rough financial times, I started saying, oh, well, it's not just having a Democrat in office or whatever. It's also like they're just like poor people just like have really fucking rough lives. Holy shit, not being able to pay rent this month is really fucking scary. I don't want to get evicted, right? So seeing things from that perspective also pushed me even further leftward. And then I think the thing that finally pushed me over the edge from just calling myself like a social democrat into a socialist was I had a roommate during that period of time where I was getting really worried about whether I could pay my rent, who was a communist. Like he has a hat that he wears all the time that has the hammer and sickle on it. Yep. He's constantly talking about communism, and I learned a lot about different concepts from him. And that was really cool, and I still get to talk to him occasionally. And it's so like that was the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge from being kind of like a Bernie Sanders Democrat to, all right, I'm a socialist, right? And I was a little bit further left while living with him than I am now. because I feel I don't know exactly what he would describe himself as, but he was like a tanky that wasn't like super tanky.
Okay.
I was probably pretty close to that until I started streaming, and I feel like if I'm going to be putting my opinion out there and it's recorded, and there are going to be people watching me informing their opinions based off of things that I say, I need to be correct as often as possible. And if I'm ever incorrect, I need to come out and admit that I was incorrect and correct the record, right? So because I did that, and because I was engaging in debates all the time, I was learning about economics, I was learning about social issues, I was learning about sociology, learning how to read studies more effectively, learning how to use statistics more correctly. And as I did that, my ideals have kind of congealed into kind of a democratic socialist or market socialist kind of area. I don't really care to label exactly where I am, because when I did that, I was people would say, well, you don't believe in this one aspect of market socialism, so like you're obviously not a market socialist. It's like, all right, well, fuck it. I am a Sondsolian, all right? That's what my
shit.
Yeah,
exactly. Perfect.
So it was so that's kind of how my journey into leftism began and has formed. And going forward, I think that the best way for people to, like, if you go through that same kind of journey where you see something happen and then you start moving further and further left, my advice to other people would be try to be as correct as often as possible, and don't watch, 2 or 3 streamers or 2 or 3 YouTube channels and form all your opinions off of that. Really take an effort to listen to like academics and listen to people with degrees in these fields that really know what they're talking about, and learn how to critically think about what their biases might be, so that when taking in that information, maybe they have a bias, but you can still get the information out of there and be cognizant of what bias may come out of it.
I think you've led right into the next section. Be best, hashtag be best. You're mentioning right now some really great advice. Be aware of your biases, and I think that's it's just it's such a simple concept, but of course always needs repeating. In terms of looking back and continuing to look back on your leftward bound journey, Sondsol, and as well as the current projects that you're working on and everything you've learned along the way, any other life hacks you might be able to share with perhaps a younger version of yourself, if you can go back in time, or realistically someone in the chat or watching the replay?
Yeah. What I would say is, especially to young individuals, and this was exactly the advice I would have given myself, is if you are a high school senior or junior and you are looking to go into college, be careful what you choose as your major, because you might find that is not something that you actually care too much to do. Try and recognize what you want and what other people are saying that you want. For me, I was being told that I should be an engineer and I should be, in the maths. I was you've always like been very good in the science field, right? Well, I didn't listen to them at first. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, which was vocal major, theater minor type stuff, or vocal major, theater minor. Yeah. And then that didn't work out because I hated the opera people. So then
the vocal performers, the vocal performance majors. Yeah. I also studied, I studied vocal music education.
Oh, really?
So I was that kind of nerd. But I'm sorry.
See, it's so like, it's so interesting and so fun to do that stuff. But the people there are interesting, to say the least. And then I moved on and I changed my major 7 times over the past couple of years, from from music and theater to engineering to chemistry to business. And there was that thing that always was there around for me over the course of my life, which was being interested in politics and in current events and what's going on and being passionate about those things. So after streaming for a couple of months, I was like, oh yeah, no, I think that this is what I should have been doing all along. Not streaming, but talking to people about politics and trying to actually enact some change in the world. So if the streaming stuff doesn't take off majorly, then you'll probably see me running for office in a couple of years.
Definitely, you're welcome back at any time, but especially when you're going to do something like that. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. That sort of wraps up that section of our chat today, but we got more. There's always more. This is the Leftist Inquisition, our questionnaire, and I'd love to begin, Sondsol, with your favorite word. Do you have a favorite word?
I guess there's a word, I don't really know exactly why I like it, but I really like the word serendipity. There's just something about that word, the way that it all flows together, and I guess the concept of being lucky, that it really appeals to me.
Serendipity. Beautiful. How about then, I don't know, I hate to ask after that, your least favorite word?
Oh, man. Probably cuckold.
Yeah.
Very, very much tired of that word. That word is played out. It needs to go. We're done with that word.
Hilarious. Cuckold. All right, no more cuckoldry. It's such a strange fucking concept. I remember looking it up for the first time going, what is going on?
See, when I was in theater, I heard that word a lot in one of the high school plays I was in, because they were talking about cuckoldry, someone else, you were raising someone else's child because your wife fucked someone else. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know why we're calling each other cucks on the internet back when I first started seeing that in 2013, 2014 or 15, whatever. And now it's all over the place. And all I can see is that image from the Shakespeare play with a guy with antlers on his head, and I can't get it out of my head. I want cuck gone. I want it gone.
Sondsol. How about then, if you could name a favorite drug or vice or guilty pleasure or one of each? Did I see a vape over there, by the way? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, vape is something that I'm slowly quitting. This is 1% nicotine at this point. Okay. I only started that because of going to band and smoking cigarettes and stuff with bandmates. But psychedelics are fun. Shrooms are just a very interesting experience. I would say, that's probably in terms of drugs. But in terms of just general vices,
that's
a really hard question. There's so many that I like, and it's been so long since I've really been able to do anything in public. I guess drinking when I'm out around people is probably my biggest vice. Going out to a bar or a club or something and actually being able to talk to people and sit around and, die when you get home after drinking way too much. Always a fun experience.
I can't wait to get back to that.
Yeah.
No joke. It's going to be good. So, Sondsol, then how about some noises? Noise or a sound that you love?
Does music count as a sound or noise, or do I have to pick a specific instrument?
No, you can do whatever you want, or maybe favorite kind of music. Yeah, you can go whatever direction you want.
Well, when it comes to music, it's very hard for me to pick a favorite genre or a favorite kind of music, because I I genuinely, there are some people that are like, I like listening to all kinds of music, and then they listen to the top 40, and it's not all kinds of music. Meanwhile, I say I like all kinds of music, and I have actually sat and done an entire like school paper to 10 hours of like Mongolian throat singing because I just like that kind of shit, right?
Tuvan throat singing, is that what they call it?
They're able to use a second set of vocal cords, which I've tried many times to do, but I cannot. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I just really like all kinds of music, but I guess the kinds I listen to the most are probably 70s, 80s rock and metal, and I guess the like I don't even know what to call it, like Jim Croce and what's his name? John Denver.
Okay.
People like that from the same
singer-songwriter. Yeah. Beautiful.
So.
Oh, that's good shit. Operator.
Oh God, I love him so much.
He had a great guitarist too, playing that acoustic guitar. It's hard to keep up with that guy.
Yeah, I cannot play that shit. Right? I can play Judas Priest music. I can play some Megadeth. I can't play that acoustic, really pretty stuff.
It's so hard. He makes it sparkle. All right, then how about some like a sound or noise you hate?
Sound or noise that I hate. I guess there's not one that comes to my mind. Usually when I think of something that I hate or that I love, it's something that I can think of just like right off the top of my head. Like I just hate that thing. But in general, most things just don't get to me in that way. So I guess my standards for saying that I hate something are kind of high.
You stand alone as the most chill person to ever grace me on the stream as a guest here. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they can name like 12 things, as can I. Maybe I'm not as chill as I should be. I'll work on that, Sondsol. Thanks for pushing me left.
It's acquired. I guess it's an acquired skill. There would have been answers back a couple of years ago. But I've worked in very loud environments for most of my life. I've worked in elementary schools in the gym where kids are kind of screaming and it's very echoey. And I've worked with dogs for the past 10 years. So there's barking and echoing and growling and all sorts of stuff there. So I guess over time you just kind of learn to live with noise.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a skill I should practice. I get annoyed by barking cats. My cat barks at me. She's a puppy cat. So then the next question has to do with reincarnation. If you were reincarnated as a plant or another animal, what would it be?
I think that this one pretty easily a cat. Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Yeah. I think that they have the most chill lives imaginable. They're not expected to learn any kind of training. If you choose to be a dog, people are going to love you. You get to play a whole lot. But you're also going to have to learn how to sit. You're going to have to learn how to lay down, roll over. You might get unlucky and get adopted by someone that does the agility courses. Fuck that shit. Make me a cat, dude. Let me sleep all fucking day. All right? That's all I want.
So funny. I like that. Okay, new angle on the cat answer. Well done, Sondsol. Beautiful. Then how about the sort of the question? One of the questions here, which is, if one day you find out that heaven and God exist, what would you like to hear them say when you arrive at your version of the pearly gates at the end of your life? So you still got time.
I guess if I were to die and I was to go to heaven and I found out God was real, and they said something to me, I guess what I would want to hear is that you were able to make a difference in people's lives in a meaningful way, whether that is because I was able to get elected and change policies such that people were able to access necessities, or whether I end up becoming a teacher and teaching children in a way that they're able to carry that forward, and they're like my teaching really affected them going forward, or in whatever endeavor I do, I would like to actually make a positive impact, whether small or large.
It's beautiful, Sondsol. Slightly different take here. If you could name a leftist hero, or left adjacent is fine, dead or alive, that you would like to meet.
Man, I don't know a whole lot of left heroes or large larger than life people, but I guess like the two that jump out to me immediately would be Noam Chomsky and MLK. I know those are kind of the baby leftist answers. Everyone knows MLK, everyone knows Noam Chomsky, but I really like the things that I've heard from Noam Chomsky. I've listened to a lot of his lectures at this point. I've listened to Manufactured Consent, and I find the way that he analyzes things is very helpful to me in what I do. And I also really appreciated the way that he engaged with people on the online left in the 2020 election.
Yeah.
So I really respect that guy. MLK, because he's MLK, and I think that being able to meet the man, the myth, the legend would be really, really cool, because a lot of the way that he is portrayed in our schools from a very young age is very different than the real guy. So that would be a really cool person to meet as well.
So Sondsol, I love those answers. If you can keep one or both of those in mind for these next few questions, that will help to answer these. If perhaps you had a chance to, you'd have to bring them back from the dead there. If you had a chance to meet them, what do you think they'd say about what you've had to say to me today, about your experience up till now?
I think that Noam Chomsky might have a few exceptions to what I said in terms of, engaging with politics in the way that I do. But I don't think that me and him disagree on, 90% of things. He's an anarchist, though. I don't think that I am quite that far to the left in terms of anything. However, I think that MLK and I probably would agree on almost everything, if not everything. I really, the way that he would talk about liberation, the way that he would talk about, towards the end of his life, just outright saying socialism, right? Those are things I think that me and him would agree on, 99% of the time as well. I think that the people that I look up to, I really find it very difficult to look up to people that highly, highly disagree with me in terms of politics, because when I look at left-leaning people that I would look at that, we probably agree on most things, but they're wrong in all these other ways, right? It would be like revolutionary people. And I don't think that I would try to seek their approval in any way. So I don't think I could get it if I tried.
Then how about, I've already asked what you think they'd say. What, if you had the chance, similarly to the previous question about meeting God at the end of your life, one of the best parts, Sondsol, is you're alive, baby. We're here. We're still got time. We can set some goals and reach them. Let's say you had the time to do that. What would you love for your leftist hero to be able to say to you or about you at the end of your life, knowing that we have time?
Well, I guess what probably the same thing. I mean, that's my ultimate goal.
Beautiful.
I know it's kind of like a stock answer. I wanna feed the poor and house the homeless. But that really is my ultimate goal. I don't even if there is a God, I don't think that I would be seeking any more of his approval than any human being that actually lives on the earth. Because in the end, if there is a benevolent God, his goals are the same as what ours should be, which would be to maximize in whatever way possible the happiness and the maximize the quality of life of as many people as you can. And there, I don't subscribe to any kind of utopian ideology or idealism in that way. I don't think that it's possible to make things perfect, right? So I would just want the same thing out of anyone at the end of my life. You actually made a difference in people's lives, because that is what I think, if you're in politics, should be your goal. Your goal shouldn't be to, maximize the economy no matter what. Your goal shouldn't be maximize X industry no matter what, or maximize the birth rate of the family or whatever. No, it should be for the people living, make them happy, comfortable, and able to produce what they are able to and what they wish to,
Okay, Sondsol. I feel like I owe you for that one. That's some. You gave me the goods today. You gave me all the wisdom, and I didn't pay you a damn cent, not a red cent. Thank you for that. Red cent. That's a bad thing. I think that's canceled. I think I've just canceled myself. I didn't realize. That's a weird habit. I didn't realize I had. Okay, so that does wrap up the leftist. My portion of the leftist Inquisition. What we can do now is open it up to the chat. I don't know if you have that open right now. I can pass on the. And if you happen to see any questions from the chat that you're willing to answer, feel free to respond to those. But this is also your time for your questions. If you have any questions for me, I don't want it to be entirely one-sided. It makes me feel guilty. But yeah, anything on your mind that you want to ask me while maybe chat thinks of some questions for you?
Yeah. When did you start streaming, and what made you want to start streaming?
Okay. Sort of a multi-layered answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
I started streaming, on Periscope actually, and I wanted to talk to people, and I was sort of doing what may be considered like an edgy atheist thing, and I was asking people about their beliefs in God. I still strongly believe that people's religion, especially in the United States and across the world, it plays into their political beliefs. And I think there's a heavy strain of Christian nationalism, for instance, that we're dealing with in the United States. That, anyways, so I sort of became sort of like an online atheist, and I would do this thing where I would interview people about their beliefs, their superstitious beliefs, or any belief really. But it ended up being very much about like people's belief in God, like bigly held beliefs, and I'd literally had hundreds of interviews, and I tried as best I can to be rational and have a good conversation, or end it before it got to be something else. So I did that for about a year or so, and that was a lot of fun. I tried to get onto the YouTube live, but I found I just didn't have a computer at the time. So fast forward a couple of more years when I had some more time to consider streaming. I worked for a trivia company, one of the side gigs I do, and they were getting into the streaming because of the coronavirus, right? All the bars are shut down. And like by that time, I remember like looking back at my OBS experience, and I could be like, hey guys, I can actually show you a couple things to make your stream better, a lot better. And because you look like idiots and you don't even know it. So I helped them. And I got a little bit more into the streaming thing. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I want to do this. I want to make content. I don't know exactly what, but I want to do it. And I did a Johnny Cash Streamathon. I called it a Man in Black Streamathon. I used to be in a Johnny Cash tribute act, and I sang a bunch of Johnny Cash music. My partner joined me for some June and Johnny and Johnny and June, and I raised $1,700 to build a streaming PC and some important things to get it going, and that was a huge boost. And then I've been streaming about a year, so it's been about a year since then, almost a year actually. I think we're coming up on our year anniversary. So
very cool. That's
yeah.
I like the thing you said about there's like a lot of Christian nationalism happening right now, and that, like, 100%. And then also people looking like idiots on their stream because they can't. They're not. The production quality is so low, and it takes no time whatsoever just to make it look a little bit better.
Yeah.
Even when I was working with like Logitech C930 or whatever.
Probably the C920. I have that same one. My partner stole it from me.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly. I think that even with that camera, you can do a lot for your stream. You just have to change the lighting a little bit. You just got to, get yourself a decent microphone and then actually care about what things you're putting on the screen.
Yeah.
With in terms of like if you want to put chat on the screen or donations or whatever. So like those are things that takes like 30 minutes. Come on.
Yeah. So. It's been quite a journey figuring that out. I've gone from a place where I've wanted it to be super busy, and then in terms of streaming, I've sort of learned to, pick and choose your battles. Like it's very easy for it to get super busy on screen. Hey, as a streamer, do you have any streamer advice?
This is my streamer advice.
Yeah.
If you are someone that is good at telling stories, if you're someone that is good at monologuing, or you have something that you are very interested in that other people are interested in, and that you have, even if you don't have like a perfectly 100% original ideas, you can stream, right? If you are someone that is not usually really good at talking, but you're very, very good at something in particular, right? Like say you're very good at painting models or a certain video game or just video games in general, you can probably stream, right? I feel very bad when I see threads on Twitter where people say that they've been trying to make it big as a streamer for 10 years and they can't break 2 viewers, right? And it's like, I don't think that you should spend every ounce of your being or put all of your heart and soul into something that is not part of your personality. It's just something that you like, right? You can do it for the fun of it, but don't try and make it your life, because that's not what I even was trying to do at the beginning of this, right? If you think that you can talk for a long time uninterrupted, which is what you're probably going to have to do at the very beginning, because you're not going to have anyone in your stream until you get a couple of people in chat, you're just going to be monologuing. You're just going to be talking about something, some topic, or some article or some video that you saw, right? Reacting, right? Also, if you're funny, if you're just funny and you can react to videos, you can also make it big on Twitch. But like that's the biggest thing. Everything comes after that. You have to have the personality for it, and if you have the personality for it, you can probably do it.
Wrong button there. That is really great advice, and I really appreciate that. I'm reminding myself to ask streamers that same question, and I appreciate that that you've shared that. Yeah. Super important. You got to be yourself. It's just not tenable to just do something that's really not a part of you and really what you believe in. It's hard to fake it. That's for sure. It's not a tenable thing.
Yeah.
All right. So Sondsol. Yeah. Yes.
Someone asked, what is the ideal beard ratio for a revolutionary leftist? Now, as I've said before, I will never get along with revolutionary leftists in terms of our ideals, right? So what you're seeing right here is what a reformist beard is. All right, this is what we do. This is what we do when we are hippies and we want to fight the system, man. But we also want to work within the system, man. So there's a lot of contradictions. You have a long beard and you have long hair, and you work long hours and you never sleep. This is my advice to all my reformists.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful, beautiful.
And the other Jewish question for Sondsol:
my gosh,
how does Moses make his tea? It's very difficult. You have to be very tactical, because when you start putting it down in there, it starts just splitting in the middle. It's a difficult process. I've seen it myself. My dad was a pastor, so I've had this question posed to me many times.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sondsol, we've invited you here today in the spirit of building leftist unity, power, and strength. And in the same spirit, I thank you for being with me today. I thank you for sharing your story and your wonderful advice, life advice, and some good streamer advice there too. And that's going to be that for today. Thank you so much for being with me, Sondsol. Love your face,
thanks for having me.
And we'll be looking forward to I hope having another round soon. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll catch you later, my man.
All right. Peace now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I think I broke it. No, that's okay. I'll fix it. Hey, look at us. We're doing content. Hey, YouTube. You're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.